Hello baseball fans, welcome back to another video, and I got a really good one for you guys today. I'm doing my dream starting 11 from the 2022 regular season. This isn't including the postseason, the preseason, or any spring training obviously. So let's get right into it. So I'm going with my starting pitcher. My one starting pitcher is going to be Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander is obviously the best pitcher in baseball from last year. In my opinion, even better than Sandy Alcantara from the NL Cy Young side. AL Cy Young winner, Justin Verlander, in my opinion, is the best pitcher in all of baseball at the moment. He had a record last year of 18-4, which is probably more starts than any pitcher made. He had a 1.75 ERA with 175 innings pitched. He had 185 strikeouts, a whip of 83. He was Mr. Consistency. You couldn't get past this guy. I understand he had a collapse in the postseason, but we're not including that. In the regular season, Justin Verlander dominated. He was quite possibly one of the greatest pitching seasons I've ever seen, and he's 40. He's getting signed by the Mets now, and it's just incredible what he's doing. He's a great all-around pitcher, and I can't wait to see what he does in the upcoming season. For the relief pitcher, I have Jordan Romano of the Toronto Blue Jays. He was their closer. He was an all-star, and he had a phenomenal season as well. He had an ERA of 2.11. He had 64 innings pitched with 73 strikeouts, a whip of 102, and 36 saves. That is a career high in saves, a career season for Romano, and quite possibly the best closer, if not the best, in all of baseball. Romano is a phenomenal relief pitcher, and he could be a setup man, he could be a closer. I mean, he's not one of those long-term relief guys, but still, Romano is just a elite, out-of-this-world ball player, and I cannot wait to see again what he's doing this year. Because Romano, if he keeps pitching like this for the Blue Jays, their bullpen is going to be lights out if they get the lead before their starting pitcher goes out. And with their starting pitching anyway, being Alek Manoah, Ryu if he comes back, and that whole starting rotation, that is an extremely good starting rotation with the addition of Bassett now too. So Romano is going to have another great year in 2023. At catcher, I have JT Realmuto. Realmuto is one of those catchers who can do a lot. He can catch really well, obviously, defensively. He's not that bad. He's not one of those guys that does a lot of passed or dropped balls. He doesn't really frame terribly either. He has great communication with his pitchers. He's also quite fast for a catcher, actually, when it comes to running on base. He actually had a really good inside-the-park home run earlier at one point this year, which he really showed his speed off. He has good contact and great power at the same time. He had a batting average of 276, which is well above catcher average from this year. He had 22 home runs, again, definitely above catcher average. He had 84 RBIs and an OPS of 820. All around, phenomenal season from JT Realmuto. I understand you could argue trying to squeeze in possibly like Sean Murphy or Wilson Contreras, but in my opinion, JT is that guy that I would have on my team. Everyone can differ for their opinions, but I just like the way JT looked overall, and he's also done this consistently in the past as well. And overall, I really like the way he plays, so that's why I have JT in my catching role. At first, I have the NL MVP, Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt had a breakout season this year, phenomenal ball player, great all-around guy on the Cardinals, especially when you pair him with Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado. When you had Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols on that team. I understand they retired, but still, phenomenal team all around. And Goldschmidt just really brought them up. He had a batting average of 317 with 35 home runs, 115 RBIs, and an OPS of 982. What more could you ask for? Goldschmidt did it all this season in the NL. The guys running against him was his teammate Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado. I mean, all of them phenomenal ball players, but Goldschmidt really stepped it up this year. He almost got the Triple Crown if it wasn't for Freddie Freeman and Arenado and Schwarber. But Goldschmidt is just amazing, and I could not ask for any better of a first baseman to be part of a dream team than him from this season. At second, I have Jazz Chisholm Jr. And I understand that there are some other better second basemen out there. I looked at a little bit of his past and how he's really young, and I really see Jazz having a bright future. He didn't have a ton of at-bats compared to the rest of the guys this year, but he didn't do terribly well, but he had a batting average of 254 with 14 home runs, 45 RBIs, and an OPS of 860. looking at a small sample size of at-bats, honestly, Jazz could have had so much better of a season compared to what he did. So that's why I'm putting him at second. I understand you could put a guy like Jose Altuve, which I don't really like him all too much, but at the same time, he's not bad. But at the same time, I'd rather have a young kid in there who has the potential to be amazing. And although he didn't get to hit a ton this season due to injury and lack of at-bats, I could really see him having that potential for 2023 and beyond, and just being consistent and going overall. Because last year in 2021, he didn't have a bad season at all himself either. At third base, I have Manny Machado. Machado was NL MVP runner-up, and he had a phenomenal season too, just like Goldschmidt. He batted .298, he had 32 home runs with 102 RBIs and 897 OPS. There aren't many better third basemen. He's definitely that 1-2 third baseman guy in all of baseball at the moment. And Machado, you don't see many players better than him right now. Machado is just a phenomenal all-around player. I was actually able to see myself one of his walk-off home runs, which, shout out to my grandpa, he actually called that exact home run on the pitch. It was a 7-4 win over the San Francisco Giants. But Machado, phenomenal all-around ball player. Great contact, good power, great defense. There's not much more. You don't see many 3-5 tool players anymore like him, and there are many more on this list too. Moving on, we got shortstop. At shortstop, I have Trey Turner. There are a ton of shortstop options this year. You could have gone with a guy like Xander Bogaerts. You could have gone with somebody like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Yeah, not really. But Trey Turner, he is a great ball player, great contact, and again, he has some power. So he had batted .298 this season. He had 21 home runs with 100 RBIs and an OPS of 809. He's a defensive wizard. He's really, really fast, so that really helps with getting on base and then possibly stealing second if need be. And he used to be that guy who was the fastest in baseball before Jorge Mateo and Bobby Witt Jr. came around. And honestly, Trey Turner is just one of those guys who's unstoppable. And now that the Phillies have him for long term, I could really see him putting a positive impact onto that team who really needed a shortstop like him after they let go of a mid-Didi Gregorius, a shell of what he used to be. But Trey Turner is just out of this world. He's a different breed of shortstop. So I have him at shortstop. At left field, I have Brian Reynolds. Reynolds did not have the greatest contact this year. He didn't hit as well as he did as in 2021, but he's a switch hitter. He's a great defensive left fielder as well, and he is versatile. He can play anywhere in the field. He can bat with the left, he can bat with the right. He had a batting average of .262, which isn't terrible. I mean, he got on base a good amount, so that's just below, if not at league average. He had 27 home runs with 62 RBIs and an 806 OPS. I mean, you can't really ask much more from a guy who's really just trying to get looked at by other teams. He was more focused on getting looked at teams this year and getting in his own head, honestly, because he was on a Pirates team that was absolute garbage and that he obviously requested a trade for. So Reynolds obviously wants to move on, and he has a really good reason why. And I only include Reynolds in this lineup. I understand you could argue there are better left fielders out there, such as Benintendi, but at the same time, I want a switch hitter who can hit left, who can do a lot of things, and is extremely good defensively while producing pretty well offensively as well. And I can see Reynolds being that guy. In center field, obviously, I put Aaron Judge. Now, Judge, there's no really questions need to be asked about why he's in this lineup. He's the AL reigning AL MVP. He hit 62 home runs with a .311 batting average, almost getting the Triple Crown if it wasn't for Luis Arias, who hit just better at about .316. Judge also had 131 RBIs with a 1111 OPS, which is just unbelievable. Most guys who have over 1,000 OPS are just having a crazy year, and that's exactly what Judge did. And Judge was just out of this world during the 2022 season, and I don't think there's anybody who almost wouldn't include him in their lineup for the overall 2022 best players of the year. Next, at right field, I actually have Bryce Harper, and I understand he was injured for part of the year, but Bryce Harper overall is just a phenomenal player. You can't get me wrong on that one. He did extremely well in the postseason, which isn't why I'm putting him here, but I just want to add that because a lot of guys kind of struggled in the postseason this year. So Bryce Harper was a standout. But at the same time, during the regular season, even though he was injured for part of it after getting surgery and all, and now he's going to need it again, Harper was just great all around. He had a 286 batting average with 18 home runs, 65 RBIs, and an OPS of 878. I mean, he still had a really good season. He had great contact. He had some power. If he had more at-bats, he would have had both more, in my opinion. He's not bad defensively, and he can play there really well. He can also be a DH if you need him. So he's extremely versatile, too. You can stick him at left field. So that's why I also like Bryce Harper. He can play everywhere, do everything. And lastly, at the DH spot, none other than Shohei Ohtani. Shohei, also that extremely versatile guy, obviously. He can do it all. He had a batting average of 273 with 34 home runs, 95 RBIs, and an OPS of 875. That's just the hitting, though. Ohtani, he's a phenomenal hitter. He has good contact and great power. And he was obviously the MVP for the AL in 2021. But that isn't just where it ends. You see, Ohtani also pitches extremely well as well. He got very close to winning the AL Cy Young this year with his pitching record of 15-9, 2.33 ERA. He had 166 strikeouts he had 249 strikeouts, 166 innings pitched, and a whip of 101, which is just way above average for pitching. And you should not have a guy who's above average for both pitching and hitting in baseball. And Ohtani is that guy. You cannot have a dream team this year without having Shohei Ohtani. And that closes out my dream team. And I would just like to say to all of you, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment any feedback or your reactions to my video. Comment your dream team or what you think you would do different to my team if you have any opinions. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.